Welcome to Part 2 of the ISS of BC Permanent Residence Application Guide for Protected Persons and Convention Refugees. In this section, we will demonstrate how to fill out a generic application form and the Schedule A background declaration form. If you haven't downloaded these forms yet, please refer to Part 1 of this video series. The generic application and Schedule A forms are identical to the forms you filled out as part of your refugee claim. They contain your personal information and background from the last 10 years, or since you turned 18, whichever is sooner. You can use the generic and Schedule A forms you filled out at the beginning of your refugee claim to help you fill out these two forms. Be sure to update them with your current contact information and account for the time that you have spent in Canada in your personal and address history. Open your downloaded generic application form with the latest version of Adobe Reader. Under Section 1 of Application Details, select Refugee for the program under which you are applying. Select In Canada Protected Person for the category under which you are applying. Moving on to Item 3. Enter the number of family members you are including in this application. Don't forget to include yourself in the total number and any dependent outside of Canada. For Section 4, select your language preferences for correspondence and for your interview. If you plan to bring an interpreter for your interview, select Yes from the drop-down menu. Select the province and city in Canada where you intend to live. This video guide is for applicants intending to live in British Columbia, so select BC and enter your city or town. Section 6 is only for applicants intending to live in Quebec. Personal details. Enter your family name, then your first name as shown on your passport or travel document. Be sure to include any nicknames or maiden names in the highlighted area. Next, enter your UCI number as shown on your refugee ID. Select your gender, then enter your height, eye color, date of birth, place of birth, and country of birth. Next, enter your country of citizenship. If you are a citizen of more than one country, be sure to include both countries. Select Canada as your current country of residence, and then select Protected Person as your status. Moving on to Section 11. Enter the date and place of your last entry to Canada. For Section 12A, answer yes or no if you lived in any country other than your country of citizenship or current country of residence for more than 6 months in the last 5 years. If yes, move on to Section 12B and enter the country, your status in that country, and the dates you arrived and left that country. Moving on to Section 13. Enter your marital status. If married or in a common law relationship, enter the date on which you were married or entered the common law relationship. Next, enter the name of your spouse and then indicate whether you have previously been married or in a common law relationship. If yes, then enter the name of your previous spouse, the type of relationship, and the time in which you were in the relationship. Enter your previous spouse's date of birth in Section 14E of Personal Details. Contact information. Enter your current mailing address. If your residential address is different from your mailing address, click No for Section 2 and enter your residential address details below. If your residential and mailing address are the same, click Yes and move on to Section 3. Enter your telephone numbers, your fax number if applicable, and your email address. Passport. Select Yes or No for whether or not you have a valid passport or travel document. Enter your passport number, country of issue, and the issue and expiry dates. Section 5 is only for applicants from Taiwan, and Section 6 is only for applicants from Israel. National Identity Document. Select Yes if you have a national identity document. Enter the document number, country of issue, and the issue and expiry dates. Education and occupation details. Enter your highest level of education completed in Section 1, and then the total number of years of education in Section 2. Next, enter your current occupation, followed by your intended occupation. Language detail. Enter your first language. Next, answer whether you are able to speak English or French. If you select both, indicate which language you are more comfortable with. Next, select yes or no to answer whether or not you've had your English or French tested by a designated testing agency. Dependents. If you are including any family members in your application, enter their information in this section just as you did for yourself. If you have more than 6 dependents, you will need to fill out the additional dependent application form for each additional family member. The additional dependents form contains the same information fields as the generic application. Before clicking Validate to complete your generic form, remember to check your original generic application form to ensure the information is consistent. If there is any mistake or incorrect information, this is your chance to correct it. Click Validate when you have completed your form. This will generate a series of barcodes. Scroll down and select whether or not you consent to being contacted by IRCC. Next, select Yes, enter the date at the bottom, and then print and sign the document. Remember to save the form on your computer, and don't forget to check off your generic application form on the document checklist. Schedule A Background Declaration. Remember that this is the same Schedule A background declaration form you filled out when you submitted your refugee claim. Refer to that form to fill this one, as the information will be the same. Check the first box if you are the principal applicant. Check the second box if you are a spouse, common law partner, or dependent child 18 or older of the principal applicant. For sections 1 to 6, enter the same information as you did on your previous Schedule A form. This includes personal details for yourself, your mother, and your father. Read through Section 6 carefully. If your information has changed and you select yes on any of the questions, you must provide details below as demonstrated here. If you selected yes on any of these in your previous Schedule A form, be sure to include it here and make sure the details are consistent on both forms. Enter your education details in Section 7. For the full details, you will only need to provide secondary and post-secondary education. This will be the same as your previous Schedule A form. However, if you completed more schooling since filling the first form, be sure to update this section with details of your latest education. For item number 8, you will provide details of your personal history since the age of 18 or the past 10 years, so you may have new information to add. Start with the most recent information. In the first 2 columns, type the dates. Under From, enter the date you started the activity, and under To, enter the date you finished. In the Activity column, type what you were doing, your occupation or job title. In case you were not working, type what you were doing during that time. For example, if you were unemployed, studying, traveling, retired, or in detention. Then, enter the city and country, and in the next column, type your status in that country. For example, if you were a citizen, student, refugee claimant, or worker. In the last column, type the name of the employer, company, or school. If you were unemployed, type NA for not applicable. Make sure that you do not leave any gaps in time. If you need more space, recreate these columns on a separate Word document. Complete your 10-year history and attach to this form. If you have been a member of or supported an organization, union, or association, enter the details in Section 9 as stated on your previous Schedule A form. If you have worked in government or held any government titles, enter the information in Section 10 as stated on your previous Schedule A form. If you have served in the military for any country, enter your details in Section 11. Type None in the box as shown here if you have not served in the military. For item 12, enter all the residential addresses where you have lived since your 18th birthday or the past 10 years. Include the dates you lived there, the address, city and country, province or state, and postal code if applicable. Do not use P.O. Box addresses. If you need more space, recreate the columns on a separate Word document. Fill out the rest of your addresses and attach to this form. Under Declaration of Applicant, enter the date. Print and write your signature. You only need to sign under Declaration of Applicant. Save the form on your computer and close it. Don't forget to check off Schedule A Background Declaration on your document checklist.